Bienvenidos, damas y caballeros, to the Spanish Language Lab. In this video, we're going to have an opportunity to practice our Spanish language listening skills as I read through chapter 28 of the Spanish translation of the novel Fight Club. So, let's get into it. All right, chapter 28, capítulo 28, let's do it. Se llamaba Patrick Madden y era enviado especial del alcalde a cargo del reciclaje. Se llamaba Patrick Madden y era enemigo de Proyecto Estragos. Salgo de la iglesia metodista, me pierdo en la noche y empiezo a recordarlo todo. Me acuerdo de todas las cosas que sabe Tyler. Patrick Madden estaba confeccionando una lista de bares en los que había clubes de lucha. De repente, sé manejar un proyector de películas, sé romper corojos y sé que Tyler alquiló la casa en Paper Street justo antes de aparecérseme en la playa. Sé la razón de la existencia de Tyler. Tyler amaba a Marla. Desde la primera noche en que la conocí, Tyler, o una parte de mí, necesitaba un medio de estar con Marla. No es que nada de esto importe, ya no, pero todos los detalles acuden a mi memoria mientras me adentro de la noche camino del club de lucha más próximo. All right, so far, our main character, who of course is Tyler Durden, who at this point has realized is Tyler Durden, is recollecting some past events. And so he mentions the name of Patrick Madden. He was a special messenger for Project Mayhem. And, well, he actually, let me get this straight. So he sent a special, whatever this is, alcalde a cargo de reciclaje. I don't know what any of this means. I'm gonna keep it straight. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. But I can tell you, based on reading the two sentences, that he had a list of or three sentences. He had a list of the bars that were hosting fight clubs, and he was an enemy of Project Mayhem, Proyecto Estragos, and that is why he is now dead. I believe he's dead. Because he was an enemy. He had been sending a special message. He was named Patrick Madden. The implication there is that Patrick, this nuisance, is a nuisance no more. Okay? And he knows this because Tyler knows this, and they're the same person. And then he goes on to admit that he knows the reason for the existence of Tyler. Tyler loves Marla from the first night that they met. Tyler, or a part of him, necesitaba un medio de estar. That's an interesting phrase, medio de estar. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna look this one up. This is interesting. Okay, I'm really glad I looked this up because this is actually something that's we should talk about right here. This is, I think, very important. Um, so right here, this phrase, un medio de estar, basically means a means of being, right? A means of being with Marla. I need to figure out a way to be with Marla. I need to figure out a way to keep Marla in my life. So this is very revealing, this entire story, right? Sé la razón de la existencia. I know the reason why Tyler exists. Our narrator says, Tyler loves Marla. And since the first night that I knew her, Tyler, or a part of me, it was necessary to find a way to be with Marla. What? Okay. What happened to all this like burn down consumer culture? What happened to all this like let's start the revolution to liberate our fellow man? What happened to um this like you know finding a way to get to fight back against the domestication and emasculation of men? Maybe it turns out, at least from this one sentence, it's like, yeah, that's all well and good, gents. But let's keep it a buck. The reason why Tyler exists, the reason, not a reason, the reason why Tyler exists is because this guy wanted to bang Marla. Now, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Marla was like, I'm gonna, yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he saw something more than just a warm body to come into. Um, Maybe he fell in love at first sight, which is just a release of certain neurotransmitters. But let's not get into that because that's a whole other conversation. And this video doesn't need to be 4 hours long. Um, this is very revealing. So Marla was the catalyst. Marla was the trigger. Marla was meeting Marla. It it was in that moment where our main character thought, I need something needs to change now. Everything that I am not, everything that I hate about myself, I need to just flip that on its head. I need to do something to attract this woman and keep her in my life. In other words, he needs to create and maintain an illusion. He needs to pretend to be someone he's not. This is something that is not sustainable. And yeah, I agree. This is something that's not sustainable. But he was desperate. He was desperate because who he must have believed. We can infer that he must have believed that whoever he was at that moment, he's like, this is not good enough. There's no way this woman's gonna love who I am. I'm just a pathetic, self-pitying, victim mentality, feminized, domesticated, consumerist nobody. There is just a hollow shell of where a man used to be. That's who I am. But if I can just flip down its head and pretend to be everything I'm not, pretend to be Tyler, I can attract this woman. Um, I think the self-awareness to know that you have a lot of work to do in terms of becoming the man who you want to be, I think is a great step one. I think our main character took it in a very disastrous direction. He went down the villain arc instead of the hero arc. Uh, there's so much to say about this, but anyways, let's keep going. We just started the chapter. Let's keep going. All right, so I don't want to keep highlighting. We are here. Let's keep going. No es que nada de esto importe, ya no, pero todos los detalles acuden a mi memoria mientras me adentro en la noche camino del club de lucha más próximo. Los sábados por la noche hay un club de lucha en el sótano del bar El Arsenal. The Arsenal? Okay. Seguramente lo puedes encontrar en la lista que estaba confeccionando Patrick Madden. Pobre Patrick Madden, ya muerto. Called it. Esta noche voy a el Arsenal y al entrar la multitud se abre a mi paso como los dientes de una cremallera. Para todo el mundo soy Tyler Durden, el grande, el poderoso, Dios y Padre. A mi alrededor escucho: buenas noches, señor. Bienvenido al Club de la Lucha, señor. Gracias por venir, señor. Mi rostro de monstruo está empezando a curarse. El agujero de la cara sonríe a través de mi mejilla. Una mueca de mi verdadera boca. Soy Tyler Durden y os podéis ir a tomar por el culo. Así que esta noche me apunto a luchar con todos los miembros del club. 50 combates, un combate cada vez. Nada de zapatos ni camisa. El combate dura lo que haga falta. Y si Tyler ama amarla, yo amo amarla. Interesting. So, um, our anti-hero, Tyler Durden, wants to take on the entire freaking club, all 50 men, one by one, of course. He's not an animal. And you know what this reminds me of? Have you ever seen the movie Pig with Nicolas Cage? It's just called Pig. It's a beautiful. It's about a pig, an actual like pig. And in this movie, Nicolas Cage's character is a chef. It is a brilliant movie. I love it. There are so many parallels in this movie with Fight Club. And there's this one scene when the main character enters what is quite literally an underground fight club and he takes on the entire freaking club and he gets his ass kicked and he lives. And like I swear, all these other movies are taking these scenes straight out of Fight Club, which I love, by the way, because I think this movie is a gem. This novel, Fight Club, is a gem for so many reasons. So yeah, that's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of the movie Pig with Nicolas Cage. So he goes on to say, and if Tyler loves Marla, bueno, yo amo Marla también, ¿eh? Es obvio, yo soy Tyler, no puede ser no puede ser no puede ser ninguna otra manera. All right, vamos. Lo que ocurre no se puede explicar con palabras. Deseo em- deseo empantanar con petroleo, no lero, petroleo todas las playas. Oh, no, that's right. Okay, yeah, the gasoline guys. Oh, he's gonna talk about how he just wants everything to fucking burn down. Oh, let's do it, dude. Let's burn it down. Here's a match, man. Let's toast to that. Let's go, Tyler. Let's burn it down. Deseo empantanar con petroleo todas las playas francesas que jamás veré. Imagínate cazando alces por los bosques frondosos del cañón en torno al Rockefeller Center. Durante el primer combate, el tipo me hace una llave y me machaca la mejilla, me machaca el pómulo hundido contra el piso de hormigón hasta que se me rompen los dientes y sus raíces melladas se me clavan en la lengua. Ahora recuerdo a Patrick Madden muerto en el suelo, la figura menuda de su esposa, tan solo una muchachita con moño. Su mujer soltó una risita nerviosa e intentó que su marido muerto bebiera un sobre de champán. Champán, champán. Su mujer dijo que la sangre de mentira era demasiado roja. La esposa de Patrick Madden metió dos dedos en el charco de sangre junto a su marido y se los llevó a la boca, los dientes clavados en la lengua. Pruebo la sangre. La mujer de Patrick Madden probó la sangre. Recuerdo en que la fiesta del asesinato misterioso yo estaba un poco apartado con los monos especiales camareros que montaban guardia a mi alrededor. Marla con su vestido estampado de papel pintado de rosas oscuras, vigilabas desde el otro lado del salón de baile. Mi segundo combate, el tipo me pone la rodilla entre los omóplatos. El tipo tira de mis brazos por detrás de la espalda y me aplasta el pecho contra el piso de hormigón. Oigo cómo se quiebra una clavícula. Esculpiría las estatuas de Fidias del Partenón con una almadena y me limpiaría el culo con la Mona Lisa. La mujer de Patrick Madden mantiene el alto de los dedos ensangrentados. Tiene sangre entre los intersticios de los dientes y la sangre le resbala por los dedos y gotea por la muñeca y la pulsera de diamantes hasta el codo. Hold on, let's go back. There's some crazy shit happening up here. Um, the wife, right here. What is happening here? All right, so yeah, right here. Su mujer dijo que la sangre de mentira era demasiado roja. Am I reading that right? Mentira? So Patrick Madden's wife said that the blood of lies was very red. Huh? La esposa de Patrick Madden metió dos dedos en el charco de sangre junto a su marido y se los llevó a la boca. Huh? So the wife of Patrick Madden put two of her fingers in the charco de sangre. I'm gonna find out what a charco de sangre is. I'm guessing it's like a puddle. Yeah, that's exactly what that means. So it's a puddle of blood. So the wife of Patrick Madden put two of her fingers in the pool of blood the pool of blood that belonged to her husband, y se los llevó en la boca, and she took it in her mouth. She's like drinking the blood of her dead husband. Los dientes clavados en la lengua. Pruebo la sangre. That her teeth, I guess, bite into the tongue. Like that. What the fuck? La mujer of Patrick probó. Yeah, she fucked. She's like, it's a fine year. It's like it's a red wine or something. Okay. What is this man imagining? Okay, so we're almost done with this chapter. This is why I'm taking liberties to kind of go at lengths in my interpretation. Um, that's wild. Okay, this is wild. This is getting crazy. Our main character is wilding out, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go. Combate número 3. Combate número 3. Me despierto y es la hora del tercero combate. No hay más nombres en el club de lucha. No eres tu nombre, no eres tu familia. Número 3. Parece saber lo que necesito y me mantiene la cabeza en la oscuridad y la asfixia. Hay una llave de estrangulamiento que solo te deja aire suficiente para mantenerte consciente. Número 3, me atenanza la cabeza en el peligue del codo, tal como sostendría a un bebé, o una pelota de rugby en el peligue del codo y me martillea al cara con la muela gigantesca de su puño cerrado, hasta que los dientes rascan el interior de la mejilla. Mejilla means cheek, by the way. That one I do know. Hasta que el agujero, so there's a hole in the cheek, hasta que el agujero de la mejilla se encuentra con la camisura de la boca, una mueca sanguinolenta abierta desde debajo de la nariz hasta debajo de la oreja. Número 3, me golpea hasta dejarse el puño de carne viva, hasta que grito. Todo lo que alguna vez amaste te rechazará o morirá. I think I know what he's trying to say here. Let me look up this word really quick. Yeah, I should have. I shouldn't have to look that one up. So everything that you love, todo, everything that you love, you give up on or dies. You will give up on or dies. Rechazar. Yeah, so rechazar means like to turn down, to reject. Not so much to give up, but to reject. So everything that someone loves, they will reject or it will die. So you see the accented A, it's the future tense for the third person. So that, it, they, or ella. So that's how you know it's a future tense. Okay, so this guy's hitting rock bottom. He's hitting rock bottom. He's just like, it's, I mean, he's fighting 50 guys. Like, he's just, in real life, this man would be dead by like the third one, tops. Like, even if he's a really good fighter, like by the third one, people are coming in like, like with fresh energy. There's experienced fighters. Forget about it, dude. This is a novel, so he can take on all 50 and still live. Just like Nicolas Cage's character took on all like 25 and still lived in the movie Pig. But I mean, it's a story. Let's give it some leeway, yeah. So this guy, I mean, he's ready to give up. He's just done. He is done with life. He just wants to go out in a blaze of glory. Kind of like, that's another thing too. It's like guys, and of course I'm going to generalize here, but there's this image of like, if you are going to die, you don't want to die like a bitch in a bed. Oh, poor me. No, it's pitiful. You want to die in a blaze of glory and honor on the battlefield. It's a very romanticized image. Like, if you are going to die and you could pick the way you die, how would you go about doing that? In bed with like dementia and like shedding yourself and having people change a diaper? It's not dignified. I've seen that. I've seen people in that state. I mean, do you really want that for yourself? Or would you rather die in battle, which is painful as fuck, but at least you go down like fighting. And that means something to a lot of guys. So I think that's what's being appealed to here. All right, let's keep going. Let's wrap this up. We've been doing this for about 20 minutes. Todo lo que alguna vez creaste será desechado. Desechado. Interesting. So everything that at one point you believed, you will discard. You will just stop believing in it. Yeah, that's right. Um, so he's talking like, this is very nihilistic. It's like, look, man, it's like nothing's real. Everything you believe in, at some point, you're gonna reject. Like, there's nothing sacred about life. Not your body, not your purpose for living, not the ideas you believe that animate you. There's just something very illusory about all of this. It's like, and yeah, there's something, multiple layers of illusion to your life. Absolutely. Is that a reason to kind of throw everything away? Could be, if that's your takeaway, but it's also a reason to just like. So here's my take. So much about without this turning into a TED talk, so much about our lives is actually very illusory. There's just layer upon layer upon layer of comfort and illusion that you can peel back until you hit philosophical bedrock, which is empty space, according to the nihilists. It's just, there's nothing there. It's empty set. Now, that doesn't necessarily imply a certain emotional response. That doesn't necessarily imply any response. Everyone chooses to respond to that however they choose to respond to that with respect to their programming. One response to that is to burn it all down. Another response to that, my response, is to say, yes, so much about our lives is unavoidably illusory. It's not a question of whether or not we believe in illusions. It's a question of whether or not which illusions we choose to believe in, which illusions we choose to entertain, which illusions we choose to include in our lives, and for what reason. I think it's ultimately about power, but it's a whole other conversation. All right, let's wrap this up. Soy Oisas, Rey de Reyes. I am Osiris. I think that's what that translates to. King of Kings. Un puñetazo más y mis dientes se cierran con un chasquido sobre la lengua. La mitad de mi lengua cae al suelo y desaparece barrida de una patada. La figura menuda de la mujer de Patrick Madden se arrodilló en el suelo junto al cadáver de su marido mientras la gente rica, la gente que supuestamente era amiga, se tambaleaba borracha a su alrededor riendo. La mujer dijo, Patrick, el charco de sangre se hace más y más grande hasta mojarle la falda. Ella dice, Patrick, ya basta, deja de estar muerto. La sangre le empapa el dobladillo de la falda, acción capilar, y hebra a hebra sobre por la tela. A mi alrededor los hombres de Proyecto Estragos gritan. Entonces la señora de Patrick Madden grita. Y en el sótano del bar El Arsenal, Tyler Durden resbala hasta el suelo como un amasijo caliente. Tyler Durden, el grande, con que fue perfecto durante un instante y que dijo que un instante era lo máximo que se podía esperar de la perfección. Y el combate continúa y continúa porque quiero morir, porque solo muriendo tenemos nombre, solo muertos dejamos de formar parte del proyecto Estragos. Okay, it's interesting how the goalpost keeps moving, although there is a through line, self-destruction. I mean, at least there's some adherence to a principle. So there's some principle here in a perverse sense. But the tactic that's being used to achieve the principle keeps changing. And this is clearly, very clearly, a death cult. This has become a death cult. By the way, there's a book I started reading at some point and I stopped called the Hagakure, which is like a feudal Japanese handbook on what it means to be a warrior, and it delineates the warrior mentality. And you realize a lot of that is a death cult. A warrior, with respect to the mentality of a feudal Japanese samurai, um, is someone who accepts death. There's like almost like it depends. It's context dependent. There's an indifference to death. They're like, yeah, death is something that could happen. Okay, well, let's keep practicing our sword. Yeah, death is something that could happen. Well, I'm a warrior. Let's go into battle and come what may. And other times it's like, yeah, death. Just run straight into this motherfucker. I want to die. I want to taste the blood of my enemies. And other times it's like, dial it back, chief. Don't die needlessly. Don't die in vain. Die for something good. Die for your uh, your Lord. Die for your fiefdom. Die for something noble. And so there's a lot of this like interesting, almost self-contradictory views on death within the samurai warrior mentality, but there's definitely a death cult streak running through that. And so that's what we're seeing here. These are, I mean, they want to feel like warriors. In Fight Club, they want to feel something, yeah? Like quieren sentir algo, because they're numb. They're numb. They've been fucking numb by the culture they're part of. Is this the healthiest way to feel something? Probably not. But they're feeling something, and if they don't dial it back, it becomes a death cult. It is a death cult. It's a fucking death cult at this point. Project Mayhem is a death cult. Um, Yeah, Fight Club's a cautionary tale, by the way. I don't know if I have to say that, but Fight Club is clearly a cautionary tale to people, particularly to young men, particularly to young men who descend into nihilism. That's what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That is chapter 28 of the Spanish translation of Fight Club, also known as El Club de la Lucha. Very short chapter, 2 pages long, and that's it. That's a wrap. So if you made it this far, if you like what we're doing here, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel so you get future videos in your feed. And that's it. Until next time, cuídate. Cuidasen, cuidaten. I don't know.